high-tech oils, available from Auto One, Sprint Auto Parts, and all leading independent auto stores.
Kia ora, welcome to the Demon Energy D1NZ National Drifting Championship. 12 years sideways in New Zealand, 6 rounds. The first round is done and dusted. That was Manfield. It's all about Mount Smart, the concrete jungle for the D1NZ National Drifting Championship, brought to you by Demon Energy.
Cheers, Brendan. Well, round 1 was all about Manfield Raceway, back after a 2-year absence, and this season's all about the new stars, the new liveries, the new cars, and the V8 invasion. Well, talking about V8 drivers, Stangadan stepped into Ben Jenkins' TJM S13 turbocharged SR20 there, slaying a few V8s of his own, taking out Sky Zhao, Drew Donovan, before he came up against the Californian V8 pilot Andrew Redwood. But out in front as well was, of course, the turbocharged stars Darren Kelly, also in a borrowed car, taking out Danon Templeman, who was a big name, winning the grand final at Mount Smart last season. But it all came down to Andrew Redwood and Darren Kelly going head-to-head. V8 versus Turbo, but it was the RB30 of Darren Kelly coming out supreme and on top at Manfield Raceway for his first ever D1NZ Pro Championship win.
And there you have it, your championship standings after Manfield Round 1. Kelly, Redwood, Hedges and Templeman, the top 4. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Demon Energy D1NZ National Drifting Championship. We're here, the mighty Mount Smart Stadium, round 2, the concrete jungle. Kenny, last year was all about Danon Templeman.
Yeah, fantastic circuit. We've got a new track layout this weekend, and yeah, Danon Templeman's going to be the man to beat. He holds the current qualifying record, a 96 out of 100 he set here last time we were here last season, and he was the last round winner at Mount Smart Stadium. He knows how to swap paint on these walls. Let's get into it.
Entering the drift section, cars will reach up to 110 kilometers an hour sideways into the first sector. Judges want to see a fast, aggressive 90-degree entry with the rear of the car travelling as close as possible for as long as possible throughout the wall ride. Drivers producing 90 degrees of angle, or deemed going backwards, will risk points deductions in Sector 1. Driving through a wide line, cars need to continue through to another outside clipping zone, where the rear of the car needs to travel as close as possible through this clipping area while maintaining as much angle as possible. Style points will be awarded for full throttle control right through into Sector 2. This is where the new track layout begins as the drivers enter a late apex transition zone. Drivers need to transition the car to position their rear bumper as close as possible throughout this outside clipping zone. Judges want to see a quick switch through Sector 2, using as little handbrake as possible to gain maximum points. Full throttle application will also score drivers maximum points as they power through a smooth arc, driving back towards a late apex clipping point. Finding the correct line through Sector 2 should set up a fast approach through the chicane and back out onto the wall for Sector 3. From here, cars enter the final sector. Drivers need to apply smooth control of the car as they switch back towards the outside wall, carrying momentum onto a reverse line from Sector 1. Full throttle application will score top marks again as the cars exit out wide to the final wall ride with a straight rolling burnout to finish. Let's take a look at the key factors, and judges want to see a big entry into Sector 1 with no more than 90 degrees of angle along the wall. Drivers must gain points in all 3 sectors to produce a final score. Attempting to drift single sectors will result in a 0-point pass. 1 wheel off track will result in a points deduction. 2 wheels off track will result in a 0 score. Spinning or major straight lines will result in a 0 score.
Well, in the last episode it was the Pro-Am standouts, of course, Joel Hedges and Joel Patterson doing it for the Pro-Am Development Series, and of course this concrete jungle just really bites, and the pro drivers just had to knuckle down with this new track layout here at Mount Smart Stadium. It's much longer, only 2 laps to a set of tyres, and for some of these boys it was a wild night for the top 32 as Stephen Soul led out from Drew Donovan, and this was one of the big hits we've seen in some years in the concrete jungles. Drew Donovan just tearing both ends of the Milwaukee S15 right off that concrete barrier. Drew managed to walk away unscathed, of course, and just testament to the safety of the D1NZ cars. Stephen Soul just checking on his mate. Make sure you stay tuned because there's more to action to come from the Soul Train.
Definitely we'll see that later in the show. Jodie Verholz, Drew Donovan's partner of the Milwaukee Subaru, came out. She battled her way through. Nico Reed, unfortunately, having mechanicals. She goes up later in the show versus Kurt Whitaker. Smoked out on that screen. And Drew, a very happy lad with some redemption from his partner. Bruce Tannock also had a great run in the top 32 last show. He went through to the top 16. Unfortunate end for the Seas Garage S14. Aiden Omnit versus Gaz Grove in the CMP S15. Gaz delivered the good. It was on the trailer for Aiden. So there it is, your top 16. This weekend show, some standouts. There will be Darren Kelly to watch versus Sky Zell. Fang and Ann Woolhouses versus Kerry Kerry's Tom Marshall. Flip side of the table, Gaz Whiter versus Gaz Grove. Further down, Andrew Redwood versus Tom Marshall. But as the moon comes out, it's the night round. We're ready to go, Kenny.
Yeah, that's right. A bumper crowd turned out here at Mount Smart Stadium on one of the busiest nights of the year in Auckland City. But let's get right into it. Bruce Tannock and Cole Armstrong. Now, these two are great mates, and Cole Armstrong just slips on a huge entry there. Bruce Tannock tags the rear. The boot flies up, and that will be a 0 for Bruce Tannock. Just too hot as we take a look at the Demon replay. And all the action was right on the entry this weekend, Brendan.
Yeah, very lucky there for Bruce Tannock not to go on the wall on that high entry speed as he sparks down the front straight. So it's a 10-0 advantage right now to Cole Armstrong and the V Energy new powered NASCAR motor. But that's a big straight line there, and another big straight line here. Now the judges are going to crucify Cole Armstrong for that. One more, and he drives the section 10-0. The judges automatically awarded 10-0 to Bruce Tannock. That went for it one more time. Bruce Tannock went through to the top 8.
All right, next up on track, Darren Kelly leading out from Sky Zhao in the 2 Degrees 350Z. Darren Kelly in the DKM Fabrication. Now, both these drivers were standouts in the top 16, but Darren Kelly with a championship title hunt, he had something to prove at Mount Smart, and he was laying it on. But do not count out Sky Zhao. Look at him right up on that rear quarter, chasing just out of his skin, Brendan.
That's right, Kenny, but the 2 Degrees 350Z unfortunately put a wheel off coming into the judge section, and the judges heavily marked that down for Sky. So while the chase looked amazing and he did an awesome job on it, that one wheel off marked him hugely down, and that outweighed that chase. And you would have seen it right there, was nearly 2 wheels off on the start of the judge section. Not the way that Sky Zhao wanted to end his night. Bit of controversy around this, but in the end, Darren Kelly went through. He battles Bruce Tannock coming up in the top 8.
Next up on screen, Fangadan in the big Century Batteries V Holden Commodore V8 power up against the Nissan Straight 6 Turbo, and Tom Marshall in the S13 just trying to lay it in on the entry, but a huge correction there, and he has to re-enter, and it all goes wrong at the second apex. So Tom Marshall spins out, hands an automatic 10-0 advantage to Fangadan, and this is where it all went wrong. He just committed himself into Sector 1, but he was a little bit put off from Fangadan's entry, and he just couldn't hold it, he just couldn't make it stick, so Fangadan goes through to the top 8.
Yeah, so Danum Templeman up next. He had to buy into the top 16, so Shane Allen, door-to-door, straight off the bat, but Shane Allen spins in the SB Tools Bach, gasses Rattler Falcon, smokes out the crowd. Unfortunately there for Shane Allen, that is a 10-0 to Danum. You can see there just overcommitted, catching him out just like it caught out Tom Marshall in the previous battle, and that puts him up against Fangadan Woolhouse in the top 8 coming up soon.
All right, flip side of the ladder. Now Sector 1 caught out plenty of drivers throughout the weekend, as we've seen, Brendan, but now Gaz Whiter takes on Gaz Grove in the CMP Construction S15. It's a battle of Nissan Silvias, plenty of V8 power to go round. The LS7 V8 Super Tourer motor in the lead car, and in the chase is the LS1 of Gaz Grove in the CMP Construction S15. A little dab of the brake to try and maintain that angle out, but Gaz Grove just a little bit off that line the judges wanted to see, Brendan.
Yeah, well, you can't knock the CMP S15 here, Kenny. He's done a pretty amazing job. 4-time New Zealand champion out in front, and he's still nearly door-to-door with him. Bit of a mark down there, advantage to Gaz Whiter as they swap over. Now, Gaz had a bye in the top 32, so this is actually his first battle up, Kenny.
Yeah, that's right. He's got a fresh mindset coming into the top 16 as he lays on the angle. He's not holding back despite holding that advantage. These drivers competing at the top level do have radio contact. They have a spotter up in the tower, but look at Gaz Grove just leading out.
Well, that's a great aspect to point out, Kenny. These top level guys, they do have communication on comms into the car with their spotter to know who's got the advantage and allow them to have that tactical drift if they want. But Gaz Whiter not holding back, door-to-door with that CMP S15. It's going to be enough. Gaz Whiter through to top 8.
Next up, Phil Sutherland, all the way from the South Island in the Drains and Developments A31 Zafiro. Now, both these cars are 2JZ power. Stephen Soul in the Camouflage R32.4, and Phil Sutherland in the A31 Zafiro just leading out here with the rear lit up, Brendan.
Yeah, now these two drivers are veterans in drifting. Phil Sutherland doing the Drift South Island series for many years now. That A31 Zafiro chassis has had a lot of development and he's very comfortable in the car. Now Stephen Soul, he's been in the North Island series, the D1NZ series I guess, for many years as well. So they're two confident cars, but Stephen Soul just lagging a bit at the moment, back on the, I guess the chase, the proximity that the judges want to see. So Phil Sutherland scores the advantage now. Now he's not on comm, so he won't know. As they lead off the start line, the lights go green. It's all action at Mount Smart Stadium. Stephen Soul chucks it in. Now Phil Sutherland just hanging it back there, but he puts it too wide, clips the wall, and the first second ever roll in D1NZ history for Phil Sutherland. What a roll that was as well, Kenny.
Yeah, taking a look at the Demon replay, the roll cage in action here just goes to show the safety of the car. Now Phil walked away without a scratch here. That is just a huge impact on that wall. 110 kilometers an hour in this tight little car park with plenty of concrete. We call these the concrete jungles, and that is why.
Yeah, many drivers not liking the fact that they are concrete jungles and the punishment that goes on these cars. Something over the time that we will review within D1NZ. But yeah, action for the Mount Smart Stadium fans. As you can see there, Phil Sutherland doing a kickflip for the first rollover since 2007, and Andrew Redwood in his C33 Laurel. But he claimed this moment in front of the fans at Mount Smart.
So that sends Stephen Soul into the top 8 against Gaz Whiter. Up on screen right now is Kurt Whitaker and Jody Verhulst.
Yeah, Kurt Whitaker also had a bye in the top 32, so this is his first battle out for the night. Jody Verhulst, her partner earlier on, had that big crash, so the nerves may be playing with her for a bit. She had a slight shallow line on initiation, but she's closed the gap back up on the Autoshore R34 now, Kenny, and she's doing a pretty good job on the Gulf Force corner.
Yeah, Kurt Whitaker just nailing that apex that we wanted to see, but Jody Verhulst just couldn't see through that smoke. Was there something wrong there? Did she get her switch just a little bit too early? And take a look at the Demon Energy replay. Kurt just leading out. There's just so much smoke, and Jody Verhulst really just had no option. And luckily she hit the picks and avoided some major contact with the concrete. So that sends Kurt through to the top 8. The last spot to fill out on screen right now, and that is Andrew Redwood leading out from Joe Marshall.
Yeah, Joe Marshall now trying to push his way through to the top 8. Tom Marshall, his brother, going out against Fingerdan earlier on in the battles. Joe Marshall now graduating also from the Pro-Am development class last year, and you can see Andrew Redwood, he's got the skill, he's got the power, he's got the gap right now, so Joe Marshall definitely going to have to do some work. The judges will be scoring a very high advantage here to the Achilles Radial RX7. He just slides on through. This is an easy one here for Redwood, Guinea. Oh, and Marshall taps the wall.
Yeah, that's right, Andrew Redwood. Just fantastic lead run there, but check out the fireworks as he scrapes the wall, and that just straightens his line and really just gives him a huge disadvantage. So Andrew Redwood now gets the chance to chase, and he is not going to hold back, Brendan.
Yeah, it's not Andrew's style to hold back, even if he does know on communications that he's got the advantage. The Achilles Radio RX7 door-to-door with the ATJ 180SX. Joe Marshall's going to have to force something here, but Andrew Redwood door-to-door as he's got the advantage. Slight bit of a straight line there from Andrew Redwood. Now, is that going to be outweighed by the big hit that Joe Marshall previously had on that wall? So interesting to see how the judges are going to score that. Who made the bigger mistake? We're about to find out, Kenny.
Yeah, that's right. Tom Marshall doing all he can in the lead, but Andrew Redwood, I think he's going to hold enough here to go through.
And he does, so Redwood will go through to the top 8 battle board as you see on the screens now versus Kurt Whitaker up the top. Bruce Tannick versus Darren Kelly. Gaz Whiter versus Stephen Soul, also one to watch. And Fingerdan Woolhouse, the next battle up, he's going to be battling Danum Templeman. So you've got two very different engines here. 2JZ powered 1,000 horsepower on the left versus a 600 horsepower, very V8 torquey Holden Commodore, the Century's battery Commodore. We slide on it, and Danum Templeman one to watch as he won last year, Kenny.
Yeah, that's right, but it doesn't really stick for the 2JZ powered NAC RX7 on entry. A lot of drivers are being caught out by that high-speed entry right onto a concrete wall, but right out the front right now is Fingerdan Woolhouse in the Century Batteries V Holden Commodore, and he'll hold a huge advantage. 9-1, you'd have to say, from the judges. All Fanger has to do is finish the section and follow the criteria through, and Denham Templeman has a lot of work to do in the second pass, Brendan.
Yeah, he'd done a great job to close the proximity up through the midsection, the laser tool section, but it wasn't going to be enough with that huge disadvantage. So we swap over now. Is Denham going to be able to force something on Fang and Dan, the two-time New Zealand champion, the Century Batteries Commodore, knocking on the back door of that NAC RX-7?
Yeah, Denham Templeman just had a huge run straight off the line, but Fang and Dan is following that criteria. He knows he's got that advantage. He may not have the car speed, but all he needs to do is stick to that line the judges want to see. Keep that angle up. Oh, a little bit of a correction there through that laser tool switch, where we saw Jody just struggle with that smoke, but Fang and Dan manages to collect it through, and Denham Templeman finishes the lap, but it just isn't enough. Fang and Dan through to the final.
So we're good to go. We're humming through the battles now. We are in the top 8 of the D1NZ round 2. Mount Smart Stadium. Bruce Tannock versus Darren Kelly. Both initiate first. Now Darren Kelly leads the championship here, running on Achilles radial. 1, 2, 3 is the same as Bruce Tannock. And look at this, Kenny, door to door again.
Yeah, Bruce Tannock just sparking up down the main straight, and they're coming down through the laser tool section now, but look at these RB30s. If you're a Nissan fan, you are going to love this. Darren Kelly just doing everything he can to try and shadow and match what the lead car does. Bruce Tannock just pulling a bit of a gap now through Sector 3 though, Brendan.
Yeah, Kelly stacking on a bit of angle there, and that allowed Bruce Tannock to claw some points back, so the judges will score it fairly even. Slight advantage to Darren Kelly, so it all comes down to what Bruce Tannock can do in the chase here. Darren Kelly pushes wide, but Bruce Tannock's there with him. He's having a stellar performance here at Mount Smart Stadium, the concrete jungle. He's knocked out Cole Armstrong. Can he knock out the current leader, Darren Kelly?
Yeah, Darren Kelly leading that series championship title hunt, and he is doing a fantastic job, as you say, Brendan, out in front. But Bruce Tannock just a little bit throttle happy just there as he switches on through laser tools, and Darren Kelly right on the line. The judges want to see Bruce Tannock doing everything he can, but he's a little bit shallow on that exit.
Yeah, that would be a hard one for the judges to score after unanimous replays. It was Darren Kelly that went through, but we'll see Bruce Tannock back at Bay Park in true form. And now we swap over 4-time New Zealand champion versus the vet, Stephen Soul, with that unique car. Gaz White, though, already out on those clipping points. The judges want to see Stephen Soul will be hoping for a better battle this time.
Yeah, that's right, Brendan. Stephen Soul, just one of those drivers who doesn't like winning by default, as we saw earlier in the night, but look at him right now, right up on that red quarter, which is what the judges want to see here at Mount Smart, and he's doing everything he can through laser tools, but that little correction that we saw earlier just coming out of Sector 1 would not do him any favours, and he'll claw some points back out of this, but he loses it. He loops it on Sector 3, he had it in the bag, and Stephen Soul, what went wrong?
Oh, Kenny, I was calling that all for Stephen Soul for a massive advantage over the 4-time New Zealand champion. All he can do now is try to force a 10-0 advantage to him on this lead, but it's not his style to try to force a mistake. He'll try to get the gap out, and a slight correction there means it's pretty much the nail in the coffin. Gaz White is just going to have to finish this run in the Tectaloy S14, and it will be all him going through to the final battles. Stephen Soul, though, that run, that chase that he just did showed the talent this guy has.
Yeah, he's been around the series for a long, long time. He's one of the OG names in the D1NZ category, and so too Gaz White, of course, 4-time legend, and he'll clean that one up and find himself in the top 4.
We've done the top 32, top 16, top 8. It's the business end. Redwood versus Whittaker, 2 of New Zealand's best.
Yeah, the cream rises to the top, and here come the championship contenders. Redwood very fast on the entry, tags Kurt Whittaker and sends Kurt Whittaker offline. Kurt Whittaker catches it. Redwood just, what was he thinking?
Well, you've seen it time and time again here, Kenny, tonight. That first entry, just drivers overcommitting, and Andrew Wood comes in hot. He can trust Kurt Whittaker's drive, but just over-rotates, and that straightens him out.
Yeah, so that hands Kurt Whittaker a huge advantage, 10-0. Andrew Redwood's got to pull something out of the bag here. What can these two drivers do into Sector 1? Redwood with a huge Scandinavian flick, following right out onto the wall. Kurt Whittaker just trying to do everything he can to chase here. He's got the advantage, but again, another driver just not holding back.
Yeah, the Auto Short R34 looking amazing out on the track there now. Andrew Redwood is just foot full down. You can see Kurt Whittaker there on the left-hand brake, just giving it a bit of gas as he comes through, just to maintain that proximity, but still give him some safe zone. He knows he's got the advantage. All he's got to do is finish the section, and he's through to those final battles. But Andrew Redwood again! What an end to the Club Auto Achilles Radial RX-7.
Yeah, Kurt Whittaker just taking some evasive manoeuvres there, but That lines up our top 4. Darren Kelly will line up against Fangadan Woolhouse. Gaz Wider will have a go against Kurt Whitaker. All right, so these two are top championship contenders, and it all came down to the top 4, as we've seen time and time again. Fangadan leading out from Darren Kelly. Now, these two have had plenty of battles together. They love battling each other, and they love each other's driving style, and Fangadan doing an absolutely awesome job right now in the Century Batteries VE Holden Commodore. Darren Kelly lagging behind just ever so slightly, but he is on that judge's line, so he is still claiming points here. And he just takes a little bit of a bite there onto that last apex, and Fangadan just leaving him in the dust.
Yeah, the judge is going to be scoring a huge advantage there to Daniel Woolhouse in their Century Batteries Commodore. Darren Kelly just not on the line the judges want to see, and struggling to keep up with the Century Batteries Commodore. So now it's all on Darren Kelly to push an advantage or to force a mistake on Fangadan Woolhouse. But look at Fangadan, it's not his style. You slow me down, I'm going to drive straight through you, as Fangadan usually does.
Fangadan just not afraid of that smoke. That big VE Commodore just appears out of nowhere and really just laying it into the chase right now. As you see, right up on that rear quarter, he hangs back just ever so slightly, bouncing off the limiter there, loses a bit of car speed, but he's still on the line, still doing what the judges are asking for, and he claws it back through Sector 3. Darren Kelly doing all he can in the lead, but it's just not enough. Fangadan will go through to the final.
As we have the next battle up, Gaz Wider versus Kurt Whitaker. Two New Zealand champions, 4 times for Gaz, 1 time for Kurt. Kurt Whitaker's got something different though. He's V8. These guys have come up time and time again. Kurt Whitaker now just drops back when he but Gaz Wider slides the Tectaloy S14 straight along the wall. But look at that of the Rattler Motorsport Auto Short R34. Kurt Whitaker is right there. What a chase.
Yeah, just like Fangadan, he's appearing out of the smoke that the lead car is creating. Gaz Wider just doing an absolute textbook job again and again. It's just testament to the amount of laps and seat time that this guy has done. There's a reason why he is a 4-time legend, but Kurt Whitaker, do not discount the former champion as well. And Gaz Wider just hard on that throttle.
Well, we swap over now. Who's going to go through to battle for first and second? Those top podium spots, both drivers want it. Kurt Whitaker slides on in. What a chase there from Wider though. This is New Zealand drifting into finals, but Wider, he cooks it. That is done. Kurt Whitaker will go through to battle for first and second. This is where it all went wrong. It was like a Bay Park last year, just that lock up so close to the barriers. And that is it for Gaz Wider. Easy for Kurt Whitaker, and here it is, the battle for first and second.
Well, the V8 invasion has well and truly arrived this year, and Fangadan is not holding back on Kurt Whitaker. Kurt Whitaker changing from the 2JZ power plant. He just made waves through the social media and through the D1NZ fan base when he switched to a V8, but look who is in behind him. Fangadan knows plenty about V8 pedaling, and he is doing a fantastic job right off that rear quarter of the Autoshore R34. A little dab of the brake through laser tools to try and get that switch, but it hurts him. It hurts him a lot, and I think he might have not been able to see through that smoke, Brendan.
Yeah, you notice there that Kurt Whitaker also dabbing on the brake coming through the back end of the section, the Gull Force corner, but Fangadan not on the brakes but still managing the proximity and his angle. What it's going to boil down to is this run. Who is the advantage with? Who is going to be our round 2 champion? But it spins, Fangadan spins, and Kurt Whitaker nearly hits him. What an end, Kenny.
Well, you wanted action, you got plenty of it. Fangadan just committing to the entry, spins it into the wall. Kurt Whitaker, evasive manoeuvres, no contact at all. Let's head trackside with Warren.
Kurt Whitaker, you've done it again here at Mount Smart Stadium. Must be pretty good to stand on top of that podium again.
Oh mate, it is. It's been quite a long time since we've been on the top of the podium there, and you starting to doubt yourself. But no man, like a little track like this, it just goes to show that bit more horsepower and that torque. You can't beat a V8 on a track like this.
Well, Kurt Whitaker reigns victorious at round 2. The concrete jungle, Darren Kelly still leading the championship, followed by Redwood, Woolhouse and Templeman. And what an event it was. It came down to the wire with the final battles, Kenny.
Yeah, look, the top 4 offered plenty of action. 3 former champions, and of course the Darren Kelly, the Development Series champion in there. So an amazing end to round 2, and it really just sets up an awesome championship title hunt as we head into Bay Park.
Yeah, and as the podium finishes, Gaz Wider, Fangadam Woolhouse and Kurt Whitaker say goodbye. You can check out all the information on D1NZ.com, including the track rundowns and anything about the judging criteria. Coming up next weekend is round 4. The Demon Energy Championship fight hits Hampton Downs Raceway. It's one not to miss in the Waikato. That is the place to be. But for now, we will leave you with these amazing shots of Kurt Whitaker in the Autosure R34 and Fangadam Woolhouse going out in style at Mount Smart Stadium. What a way to celebrate for everyone that stayed out late until the night. An epic event, one that we can't wait for next time. My name's Brennan White.
And I'm Kenny Ruddle, and the D1NZ National Drifting Championship is brought to you by Demon Energy.
The concrete jungle component of D1NZ continues on next week's show with round 3 of the series from Tauranga. But after the break, we head to Queensland Raceway for all the support action for round 4 of the Swan Insurance Australasian Superbike Championship.